Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Geek Out Room podcast. Don't forget you can watch our episodes over on our YouTube channel, Sauceless Entertainment, or you can listen to our episodes over on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Just type in Geek Out Room podcast in the search engine and you'll find us. With that being said, we're talking about Ubisoft again. Ubisoft is one of those companies that everyone in the gaming community knows. All right, they gave us Assassin's Creed, they gave us Rainbow Six Vegas games, they gave us Splinter Cell games, amongst many other titles. But they announced that the Prince of Persia remake is dead, along with 6 other or so titles and 7 other titles being delayed as they're looking to lock in and focus on quality over quantity. And while this is usually supposed to be a good thing, not necessarily, scrapping a project where you poured millions of dollars in and a bunch of fans were waiting for, but knowing that, hey, the formula or model we've been following as a company has not been working, we're expanding or at least using too many of our resources and allocating them to places and projects that aren't benefiting us. We need to lessen that, lock in, and create something good, or overall, this company will not stand the test of time. This also means that mass layoffs will be coming reportedly around mid-February. Very sad, but we know Ubisoft is a company that fumbles a lot, and I think they're going to continue fumbling. I think this could be one of the legs under the chair of Ubisoft beginning to get cut off here, because I see a company that doesn't know what to do with Assassin's Creed. I see a company that has a lot of Tom Clancy IPs and they don't really know how to make it or what to do with it. I see a company that told gamers they should get used to not owning any more of their games. And I feel like they just don't have the goodwill of the gaming world anymore. And this idea that they're stopping all these projects to help laser in and making more quality projects, I just don't believe it until I see it. Year after year, or every other couple of years when they create and release a game, I feel like a dumbass because I get excited. Their trailers look cool, the idea of the game is great, and the execution is just piss poor. Whether it's terrible writing, or terrible dialogue, or getting the worst out of the actors, or it's just the gameplay is lackluster, not even exciting to watch, let alone play, then what use are some of these games that they're making? The direction this company has taken over the last decade and some change has not been great. And the fact that there is no major changes upstairs lets me know that they're going to continue making these lackluster projects, just lessen them. And that doesn't seem like a great idea, in my opinion. Microsoft's getting a lot of heat over the last couple of years, especially really nuclear hot as of the last couple of months, and rightfully so. But Ubisoft is one of those companies that, because they're releasing games that people still buy in droves and still like or dislike, it just creates a conversation amongst their titles. They kind of go under the radar sometimes in terms of the broad gaming community, people who just like to lock in and play games and not really worry about the ins and outs and all that stuff, right? But this time, they really incurred the wrath of many gamers, because Prince of Persia is a game that has a really interesting and loving fan base. I'm not one of them. I actually never played the original Prince of Persia game. I never have. Never touched any of the Prince of Persia games. I seen it. It looked great. Just never could buy it because we were broke at the time and there's just a lot of other games, Pokemon, that I wanted to spend my allowance on, and not Prince of Persia. And a lot of the games I played when I was a kid, I inherited from my brother. So my brother didn't play it. I didn't play it. And Prince of Persia is one of those games I just looked at. I love the cover art. To this day I did. Just never played it. And I was actually looking forward to this new Prince of Persia game because I was going to buy it so I can finally experience Prince of Persia for the first time. And now I'll never get a chance. Well, again, I can always go play the original, and I might just go do that. But I'll never be able to play this redone in the new age image of whatever Ubisoft wanted for it to look like. I'll never get to play that. A lot of people won't. And a lot of people are fans have been waiting years upon years upon years for this, and now they won't get it. And they've gotten this promise. They've gotten all these cool trailers. They've got all this cool news. Just to one day wake up, as I'm recording this maybe a day or two ago, and realize it's never coming. And that freaking sucks. And this is a guy who grew up with Assassin's Creed, grew up with Rainbow Six Vegas, grew up with Splinter Cell, grew up with so many of these Ubisoft titles, putting Ubisoft on this pedestal as a kid / teenager and young adult. Every single Assassin's Creed game, I was the first person in line. I would pre-order it, be ready, I would lock in. I'll never forget, right before I forgot, I think it was Hurricane Sandy, which everyone destroyed Jersey Shore back in like 2013, 14, I think 13. I pre-ordered Assassin's Creed, I think 3 came out at the time, and that's the game I got right before the storm came. So once the storm came and they canceled school for like 2 or 3 days, I played the hell out of that game. I was locked in, had a great time, and I'll never forget picking up my brother letting me play Assassin's Creed 1 and seeing how much I freaking loved that franchise. So when Assassin's Creed 2 and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood came out, and Unity and whatever Assassin's Creed game, I just played the hell out of it. I'll never forget how iconic it felt to go back in time and experience these fictional assassin versus Templar battles in these points in history where they modified it for the case of the drama of the game, and just really locking in and loving it, even doing research on these time periods because I was so interested. That's how rich these games felt. And to now have this company be such a shell of itself and deliver worst game after worst game after worst game, cancellation after cancellation after cancellation. There's no point of getting hyped for games sometimes when things like this happen. And mind you, I mess around with Unreal Engine. I build games. I'm not a game designer. I'm not some game dev. I just do it very amateurishly. I'm an amateur. But I do understand a teeny tiny bit of what goes into making video games. It's not easy. It's grueling. And I understand that. With that being said, it is frustrating as a consumer, as a person who's waiting, as a person who buys this game, who gives this game value. We all do as people who buy these games and play them. To get trailers 5-6 years or get news 5-4 years before the game comes out is annoying because so much can go wrong between 5 and 6 years. So many things can go wrong, not only in the development of the game, but in your own life where you may not be able to ever play this game. Knocking on wood for you, but you know how it is. And it's frustrating, man. It's frustrating to get these trailers and then never see I'll never forget when they announced that Wonder Woman game in like 2020 or 2019, 2020, and then just crickets, and then it's canceled. And then the cancellation news was so quiet that there's probably people still waiting for it, not knowing, and it got canceled till they heard me say it right now. And there's games where it's so long wait between another trailer or hearing about it that you're scared in this age of canceling stuff that it's canceled. Like that Blade game or that Captain America Black Panther game. You know, there's so much stuff that just gets lost in it all. And it feels so boring and depressing. And then you get games sometimes like Star Wars Battlefront where it's like, and I mean the one that came out probably like more than 10 years ago now, where 90% of the game wasn't finished. It was like locked behind this wall after you already purchased the game, and then they expect you to purchase the rest of the game that should have came with the game originally. That's bad faith, and that's not all Ubisoft. That's a whole EA and a whole different situation. But still, I say all that to say, the gaming community as a whole, or just casual gamers, it can be really upsetting. You pay all this money for these consoles, and then you barely get any games for these consoles. Well, there's a lot of indie games that are really dope and cool, so I'm not hating on that. But these AAA titles, you get promised these things. You buy these consoles. Things get delayed to the Shadow Realm. And then, boom, a new console comes out. Now you have to go buy that console because this game that got delayed for 4 years now can't come out on this old console. It has to come out on this new console. Then you buy this new console. Then the game is delayed again or canceled. And now you're just sitting here with your foot up your ass, like down $700 and no game. And that's frustrating. I'm sorry. You can call me a baby, I'm a whiner, however much you want. That's the reality for a lot of people. In case people forgot or people were too young, because this is a new generation of gamers and such, it used to be a time where games were so iconic, you would go out, either sell your console to GameStop or save up money and buy the new console so you can play that game. Meaning Gears of War, Halo. If you're a PS3 guy, all your friends, you saw that. You went to the movies to go watch a movie and you see trailers for Halo 3 on your theater screen. You're like, I need that. That's the era I grew up in. You would the console wars, you would go, because there was so much competition, so many great ideas being tossed around. You would go jump ship and go do that. You would go see the Nintendo Wii and be like, oh, that looks like the future of gaming. I need that. You would go do all that. You have all these cool games. Wii Sports. I think Zelda Twilight Princess was on the GameCube and then got released as well at the same time on the Wii and stuff like that. So you have things like that. And Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo, like just all these things. And now we're in an era, man, where it's just like it doesn't feel like it matters. It feels like I should just get a computer, because at least I can do millions of things on the computer and then also play games with my buddies. It feels like buying an Xbox or PlayStation or a Switch is just too expensive and too limiting for what it is. Especially in this era where no one needs a disc drive anymore in terms of DVDs and Blu-rays. Consoles sometimes just sit here and collect dust. And we let hype get to us. And I swear I'm putting all this back to my original thing about Ubisoft. When it comes to Ubisoft, man, it's just a shame to see them get to this point. And that's why, honestly, if I'm Ubisoft, I would highly consider selling some of my IPs or at least licensing some of them out so that we can get some revenue from it or income from it. And whatever we're locking into, whatever we're trying to narrow it down to for quality control, we can spend that extra revenue or income from selling or licensing off our IPs to go work on these games. Because clearly they're allocating too many resources to games they're not confident in, or they can't crack, or they don't care about, and they just want to change directions. And that happens, and as much as I do not like this company, it happens, and they're truly trying to do stuff for the better, not only to save their company, but to be somewhat back in the good graces of the people who got them to where they are now. Fine. But that means you can't hold some of these IPs hostage anymore. It just doesn't make any sense. If you spend millions of dollars on this Prince of Persia game, to the point where it really could come out in the next 3 years, but you just cannot justify allocating any more resources to it, sell the IP or license it off. Let someone else get a crack at it. Go get your money back, or at least as much money as you can back from it by selling it off to a different company. Let them make their movies on it. Let them see if they can figure out the game, and you get your cash back, or at least some type of return on this game that you're never going to finish. That's what I would do. If you're never going to come out with another Splinter Cell game again, let someone else do it. There's already TV shows on it, a TV animated show series that came out and that was well received. Let people make movies on this thing. Let people make games on it. Start selling some of these IP off. If you want to start creating, like, if the path is, hey, we want to focus just on Assassin's Creed now, or hey, we want to focus just on some of the Tom Clancy titles we do, or hey, we want to go a completely different direction, work on new original IPs, which is very risky for gaming companies right now. But that's something they say, hey, we want to do this, but we can't do it if we have to bleed money doing Assassin's Creed and da 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 all the time. Fine. Hell, if you really feel that way, sell Assassin's Creed or license Assassin's Creed off. I'm sure Sony and some of these other companies would be foaming at the mouth to buy Assassin's Creed from you. You could probably get a Duffy. You can back up the Brinks truck on these dudes for Assassin's Creed. I promise you could. As much as you tarnished the brand, it still makes some type of money, and people think they could do it better and would buy it from you in a heartbeat. Let them do it or license it off. There's all these different type of games that I'm sure people would love to make Assassin's Creed. If Telltale games were still around, I'm sure they would probably love to license Assassin's Creed from you and make a choice-based game, Assassin's Creed choice-based game from it. Like things like that. Like you gotta stop the bleeding, and it's not just canceling games that are beloved and then firing half your employees and shutting down 2 of your studios. It's reorganizing, regrouping, selling off some of the limbs that are bleeding out, and really refocusing. And I just feel bad for some of these IPs as well, because they're in the hands of a company that clearly doesn't know what they're doing or doesn't believe in themselves anymore to make a solid game. And that's unfortunate, because in this era, in 2026, you got to come with some really fire stuff. There's too much noise. There's TikTok, there's IG Reels, there's YouTube Shorts, there's YouTube where people can just watch gameplay. There's too much stuff to just divide people's attention. They don't need this game anymore or this company anymore. You're becoming irrelevant, and you're also kind of pieces of shit at how you talk to your fans and your consumers. So there's that too. So there needs to be a complete overhaul of this company, and I'm not sure they're willing to do that, and I'm not sure if they can make the right decision anyway. And so I have no hope for Ubisoft, and unfortunately this is the beginning of the end, which is the end won't come anytime soon, but this is the beginning of the end. At least we know why. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know your thoughts on Ubisoft and this whole situation, and let me know what your favorite Ubisoft IP is. I see you all in the next one. Keep geeking out.